capacity. And that means we in Europe need to already start looking ahead and thinking ahead about how we are going to win the war against Africa, because there will be a future war between Europe and Africa.
I want you to watch this video and listen to this European guy and hear how he said that African leaders have sold African resources to the Europe, and there is incoming war between Africa and Europe. Though I don't totally agree with what he said, but there is a lot of sense in what he's saying, and he's very serious with this. He said that Africans are claiming that Europe stole their resources, but he's telling Africans that this was sold. They didn't steal it. I want you to watch this video yourself and hear what he has to say.
If you've been on TikTok for a while, you must have heard about a ton of Africans telling you that Europeans stole Africa's resources. Now, there's a lot to say about that. First and foremost, most of these resources are still in Africa, and they're not being stolen by Europeans. They're actually being sold to Europeans by the African state leadership. Your own elites are robbing you. It's not us doing it, not anymore. The real issue, of course, is why aren't Africans using their own resources to do things? Why does Mr. Beast have to go to Kenya to build water wells? Why didn't the Kenyan government do it themselves? I suppose the Kenyan government could have done it themselves. They just chose not to do it. Nigeria is now a country of almost 220 million people, the largest country in Africa. But they only produce about 10% of the electricity that a small country like Hungary. Hungary only has 10 million people, but they produce 10 times as much electricity as Nigeria does. I mean, I know you want to have your Wakanda, right? But do you expect white people to give it to you? No, you're supposed to build it yourself. Having said all this, it is of course obvious that we Europeans in the north need to prepare for a potential African rise in terms of technology, and therefore also in terms of military capacity. And that means we in Europe need to already start looking ahead and thinking ahead about how we are going to win the war against Africa, because there will be a future war between Europe and Africa.
Listen to this guy and heard what he said. So what do you think about what this guy is saying? For me, I think I don't totally agree with what he's saying, because Africa is already our political system is messed up. It's being controlled by West. I still have that doubt that African political system is not fully controlled by Africans. Yes, because, and I know very well that before an African, most of the African leaders that are winning election in each particular African nations, what they do is that they will run to Europe, promise European leaders a portion of African resources, then they will come down to help them win election. When they go there, they will promise them a particular of African resources to help them win election. If European leaders help them win election in their country, they will give them a portion of African resources. If they have gold, they will tell them, okay, come and mine our gold. If they have oil, they will give them oil wells for free. Tell us what you think about what this guy said.